Hello, 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 everyone. Good evening. I am just out here on the deck chilling, and I just wanted to turn the camera on and let y'all see how I spend my afternoon when I'm all said and done and all the work is done. And it's just a matter of me being out here on the deck, just chilling, enjoying my little air and the wind out here, because we had another storm came through a little while ago, and it was a pretty good rain. I even got an alert on my phone talking about running for shelter and this, that, and other thing. But when I looked out here, I keep an eye on the trees, and the leaves were still, they were blowing all over the place, but they weren't doing enough that I would have to evacuate. And I was thinking to myself, it tells us to, if and so you're, get that tornado warning or whatever, they tell you that, you evacuate to a stick built building. So to God be the glory. If and so something was like that to ever happen and I couldn't get out of here and I had to evacuate, I would go to my shed in the backyard, which is a stick built building. This building I live in right now is a double wide. It's a double wide, and y'all know what happens with double wides when you go through a storm and you go through a hurricane. And thank God I've never been in one personally. I've never been in one of those. And to God be the glory, but you got to leave things up to the Lord. But I do have the stick built building in the back, the shed, because even when I first got down here, the gentleman told me that I asked where would we evacuate to if we had to evacuate to go to for a hurricane. I've lived in Delaware all my life and I never experienced a hurricane, and God knows I pray that I never do. And my heart goes out to those that have. But I asked the question because of the fact that, I know as the closer you get down here to the south, there's a lot of anything can possibly happen. I mean, look what happened up there in North Carolina. I mean, that was really bad. So I just want y'all to make sure that, y'all understand that if anything was to happen of that nature, it's in God's hands. It's truly in God's hands. Me and my son would have to evacuate. We'd have to evacuate. If we have time, we would evacuate and go to the school. If we can get out from back here, we would go to the school. But if we could not go to the school, then we would have to leave it in the hands of the Lord, and we'd have to take shelter in my big building in the backyard, which is a stick-built building that is on this property. So that's where we would go so we had to evacuate. Because when the alarm came over my phone a little while ago, and I looked up and I came out, the sky was black and it was raining cats and dogs. It doesn't stop raining now, and I did check the weather to see exactly what was happening, and they just said that, if and so you'll get another alert, if and so you have to evacuate, and you will go to whatever stick built building. But if you're in a double wide, you're in a car, anything of that nature, they're telling you to get away from them buildings, get out of them and get away from them. So when I heard that, I thought to myself, I said, see, these are the dangers of life that we have no control of. There are some things that just happens that just only God can fix, only God can take care of. So as I begin to come outdoors, I begin to pray on the step, and I begin to pray and ask God to cover me and my son and give us mercy and give us grace, and let his will be done from that point on, because you can't outrun a storm. You really cannot outrun these things. If and so they tell you that it done hit, and you get that alert saying that you got to take shelter where you are. It didn't say go no place. It didn't say for you to evacuate. It just said take shelter right where you are. So when you got to take shelter right where you are, that means your life is truly in the hands of the Lord. He'll save who he want to save and take who he want to take. That's one thing I've understood. So I would take my son, and we would get out of this double wide, and we would go to our building in the backyard, which is a Morton pole shed, but it's actually a stick built building. And we would there's a little room inside there. We would just get in that little room and sit on the floor and prayerfully ride out the storm and pray that God would keep us in the midst. And that's all we would be able to do. But thanks be unto God that the storm, it hasn't passed completely, because they're saying that it could pick back up in a little while, and they're saying that it really probably won't be over till about 8 o'clock tonight. I mean, till about 9 or 10 o'clock tonight. So a lot of times when we get these storms, they get bad through the night. So what I usually do is I usually set my alarm on my phone as well, and I say my prayers, and I go ahead on the bed. I go right on the bed, because there's nothing I truly can do by staying awake, waiting to see what God's going to do in the midst. So I said to myself, I said, this world we living in is so unpredictable. It's so unpredictable. And there's things that we just have to ride it out. And there's things that's out of our control. There's things that we just cannot have no control over, and we have to just go ahead and rest. We just have to rest in it. We have to rest in it and trust that God is going to take care of us in the midst of it, because that's all I would be able to do, is to be able to rest in the fact that, the God I serve is going to keep me. And if the God takes me, then if I perish, then let me perish. It's the only thing I can do, because there's nothing else I would be able to do. Because these things come upon you. They come upon you so fast. These national disasters are just entirely too much. They are too much. They actually are too much. So y'all just keep a prayer on us as we continue to pray for y'all, because we got prayer that got to go all over the world. It's a praying time now. This is why we have to pray. This is why we need to pray one for another. This is why we need to keep a prayer on our loved ones. This is why you need to call people, and you need to let people know that you love them. Don't wait until they're gone and then you want to rush to the funeral home and look in the casket, make sure they're in there so you can rejoice. Really, truly, this is what people be doing, and really you be hurting your own self when you do stuff like that. Why? Because they may still be here and you may be the one to leave here. So you got to be careful how you handle people in this season. You got to be careful how you handle people, period. Why? Because life is not promised to nobody. Nobody has been promised a ticket to stay on this earth forever. Because one thing we do know, you must live and you must leave up out of here. And it depends on how you live and how you leave up out of here. That is the question. How are you going to leave up out of here? You know what I'm saying? Or are you going to leave up out of here angry, bitter, lying, cheating, stealing, deceitful? You know what I'm saying? Or are you going to go with the Spirit of the Lord that worketh through you so that you may be able to live again? He said in his word that if you reign with him, you'll live, you'll rejoice with him. So we want to live our life in a way that we shall be able to live again. We're not perfect people. He already know we're not perfect. He already know what's in us before we even say it, before we even do it. He knows everything that we got going on. All he wants us to do is praise him and wants us to acknowledge him. So many people feel as though that they got to be perfect in order to serve the Lord, or they got to get their life right before they come to Jesus. No, baby. That's why we have him. That's why we love him. That's why we repent, and then we speak to Jesus, and then Jesus takes it to the Father, and then he come back with our answer, and we get chastised sometimes, and it don't feel good, but it's for our good. So I just thank God right now for how he's moving and how he's taking care of me in this hour, and how he's looked after me and my son. We're living in a time now where we really got to pray just to make it, remember that song that said we really got to pray just to make it today? I mean, that is the truth. We really do have to pray to make it today, because if we don't pray, if we do not allow ourselves to be able to be in a position where we can pray one for another and pray for somebody else, then we really are going to be in trouble. We're going to be in trouble with the world. We're going to be in trouble with God. We're going to be in trouble in our lives, and we're not going to see the fruits of the Spirit operating through our lives, or the blessings of God operating through our lives. So we got to get ourselves in a place where we begin to thank God for the things that we do have. Thank God for the life that we do have. Thank God for the place that he has got us in, when we're in our right mind and we're able to think and we're able to do things for ourselves, and we're able to, just show up. Just show up. That's all you got to do is show up. Show up. Give God the glory and show up. Show up. Because, I just look at the fact that, God didn't bring me this far to leave me. He brought me all the way out here to this strange land. I never even thought I would ever be living in South Carolina, ever. But he brought me to this strange land, and this is where he parked me at. This is where he put me. This is where he expects to find me when he come looking for me. He put me right here in the midst of this country for me to be able to handle whatever it is I need to have to handle, take my son through whatever we got to go through. But then one thing he knew I was the woman for the job. That's one thing he did know. He knew that if he send me, I shall go. He knew that he could trust and believe that I would take on whatever task that he gives me. Why? Because I know it's just been me and God for a long time. I know what it is to be just me and God. I know there's not been people around me a lot. I've always been moving a lot by myself. I've been a loner for many years. So I know what it is when it's just me and God. And when he say go, I got to go. When he say move, I moves. Just like that. Why? Because I know I'm gonna be led in a spirit of righteousness if I let God lead me. If I just stay in position. If I just stay stay in alignment with God. I don't have to worry about anything or anybody. But I tell myself all the time. I even ask myself, I be real sometimes, and I be like, God, why is it that you allow other people to do so much of this, that, and the other thing, but every time I try to do something, I feel convicted? Why is that? Why do I have to be the one that have to be the superhero for everybody else? Sometimes I be asking them questions, but yet and still, because I've operated in this space, in this room for so long, I don't feel right if I'm not operating in it, if I'm not there to be helping someone else, if I don't be a helper to somebody else, if I don't begin to speak life over somebody else, if I don't pray before I go to sleep, if I don't do these things, it just feels like I feel strange and I don't sleep well. I have to make sure that I've said my prayers. I have to make sure that I have prayed for other people, even those that spitefully use me, those that claim they can't stand me for whatever reason. It doesn't even matter to me, because I look at it like this: those that matter understand. And those that don't understand truly don't matter. That's just a whole nut in the ball shell. Because they got to deal with that. They got to deal with their own emotions. They got to deal with how they feel. They got to deal with how they put their mouth on me. They got to deal with all that. That's not my business. When people be talking about y'all, I've said it over and over again. That is not your business. Even if they get on these lines and they start talking about you and slander your name and this, that, and other thing, that really ain't our business. Sometimes we like to get in it because we like that confrontation. I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes I like a good argument. Every now and then I might get in there and go tick for tat, and then God will say, hold it, watch it, watch it, watch it. And then I get chastised, and then I have to say I'm sorry. I am one that will say I'm sorry, even if I'm wrong. Sometimes, even if I know I'm right, I will say I'm sorry. And even if I'm wrong, I say I'm sorry. Because I'm not one that's afraid to say I'm sorry, and I'm not afraid to say I love you. I'm not afraid to say I love you, even when you spitefully use me. Even though you take me through a whole bunch of hell, I still will say I love you. Why? Because you know why? I don't want to go to bed angry. I don't want to go to bed with a bunch of foolishness on my mind. I don't want to go to sleep with a bunch of hate in my heart. I don't do that. I just cannot carry. There's no space in me for that. There's no space. I don't carry grudges like that. I know some people can be mad with people and they'll be mad with them forever. Forever. You beef with me, we beefing forever. Go ahead, Cardi B. If you beef with me, we beefing forever. They have no place in their heart for forgiveness. You got to learn how to forgive some folk. Because you don't do everything right. You say a bunch of dumb stuff. You do things that are out of order. You do things that are out of the will of God. But yet when somebody do something to you, you act like you can't forgive. You can't forgive. And that's where we got to get to a place where we learn how to forgive and to forget. Not just forgive. You forgive and forget it and move on about your business. If you can't forget it, okay, then don't forget it. But don't use it against them once you have told them that you forgive them. Because if you truly forgive them, you will be able to move on in a way that y'all will be all right. So forgiveness is on the table. And forgiveness is not for them, it's for you. You need to learn how to forgive so you can get that angry thorn out of you before you get that thorn in you that you can't get rid of. I just be thinking about that sometimes. I refuse to carry a bunch of hate and a bunch of anger inside of me. I just refuse to carry it. I just refuse to carry it because not only that, it makes you age. It makes you tired. It makes you old. It makes you ugly. It'll make you to the point where it'll make you sick. It'll give you stress, anxiety, depression. All that mess will come upon you. And that's what Lucifer loves, that, because those are all his partners. All his boys will start moving into that vessel. And before you know it, you won't be able to eat right, think right, sleep right. You'll have all kinds of aches and pains. You won't know what to do with yourself. You will not know what to do with yourself. You'll be stressed all out and you'll have brain fog and everything else. Why? Because of the spirit that you choose to operate in. But when you learn to forgive and you learn the spirit of how to forgive, it's a beautiful place to be. It's a beautiful place to be because you're free. You're totally free. You're free from all the foolishness that comes on around you. You'll be able to help people get through their problems as well as them helping you get through yours. Because I tell y'all all the time, check on your strong people. Because we go through some stuff too. I consider myself one of the strong people because of the fact that I have been out here in these streets for a long time, handling my business by myself. But that doesn't mean I want to be by myself? No. Does that mean that I don't want nobody to call me? No. Does that mean I don't want somebody to check on me? No. I want people to check on me. I want you to call me. I want to be able to one day prayerfully be married all over again. That's my goal because that's God's goal for my life. I know that's God's goal for my life. God don't want us out here. I hear so many people saying, I don't want to be with a man. I don't want to be with a woman. What you going to be with? What are you going to be with? Giving up is not an option. I understand that the dating pool is garbage. I understand when you out here vetting people, you got to vet a couple of people. But you don't have to really put in, you don't have to really, as they say, you don't have to date a whole bunch of people. You just got to hear what they got to say. Because once they start talking, you'll be able to know. They'll be able to tell. You'll be able to tell if that's of God. You'll be able to tell if that's somebody that you want to even connect your spirit with. They don't have to talk too much either. They don't have to talk too long. Because action speaks more louder than words. I'm not going to sit here and tell y'all that there is no real men or women of God that are out there that you can connect with, that you can fall in love with, that you can still have a decent life. Even what we're going through today, so many people think that life is over. Life with a man and a woman in love is over, and from the spirit of which we know it. I beg to differ. Because the guys that we serve says when a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing. And a lot of times he has the good things hidden. He has the good things hidden, and you're hidden because he's working on that man for you. He's got to put that man together again. That man could have been through a divorce. He could have been broken, coming from a broken relationship, and now he's getting his life together. Now he understands the move of God for his life. Now he understands that he don't really want to be alone. Now he understands how to treat that woman. Now he understands how to love that woman. You don't know. You just don't know how God is putting things together. I mean, because men are just as fragile as we are as women when we go through divorce, because especially a man that really is a man of God, that really loves the Lord, he don't want no divorce. He really wants to be married, but sometimes they just act up. Just call a thing a thing. And sometimes she act up. We don't know who broke that marriage up, but it's not always the man. Let me tell y'all this too. Some of you women, y'all know y'all can be in a devious situation where y'all can cause that man so much hell and give him so much trouble till he ain't got no other choice but to go. So just understand that it's not always a man that breaks up a marriage. And that's what we got to get away from that. Just like when I hear these people on these lines talking about the food stamp issue and the housing issue, it's always they talk about the woman. They're always dragging the woman in the midst of the relationship. Oh, she was the one that opened her legs. She was the one that made the babies. She was the one that got the kids. You just a dusty. You just that and the other thing. But where's the man? It reminded me of the Bible verse when they drugged the woman that was caught in the issue. The woman that was caught in adultery. The woman that was caught in adultery. Remember, they drug her to Jesus. They drug her to Jesus. And told Jesus that she was caught in the act of adultery, and they were ready to stone her. These men were ready to stone this woman. These men are on the lines right to this day stoning these women. But where was he? Where was the man in all of this? Why didn't drag him to Jesus as well? Because she didn't commit adultery by herself. And this is the thing what they're doing today. Right to this day, they're on these lines and they're dragging the woman. They're dragging her. I mean, dragging the woman through these streets, through these internet streets. They dragging the women, but they're not saying too much about these men. These women did not create these 3 or 4 or 5 headed kids all by themselves. Why should they take the blame all by themselves? Why are they being held accountable all by themselves when these dusty men ain't being held accountable? They got you calling the women dusty. How can the women be dusty if they ain't got a dusty man? Why can't they just be men and women of God that have not found their way, and they started out backwards because somehow they think that when you meet somebody, you start out with them by having a sexual relationship with them, and that's how you know if you really want them. No, ma'am, no, sir, that's not it. That's not it. That's backwards as 2 left shoes. That's just as backwards as 2 left shoes. Because no, you're supposed to meet them, date them, conversate with them, keep your legs closed before you get to that point. I'm talking about him and her. But we don't do that. I'm putting myself in the ball game too. We didn't do that. But this is the way God wants us to do it. That's why he said he wants us to be married. That's all I'm trying to say. He wants us to meet the gentleman, date him, carry yourself as a wife, put yourself in position, marry that man, and be able to have a decent life and do it the right way. So we can't fix what we did yesterday, but we could start from the day and we can do it right today. We could start from the day and we could pick ourselves up and dust ourselves off. We can repent and move on. God is a forgiving God. He loves us. He know we done messed up. He know we messes up all the time. And this is why his word is so important, that we can go to the word for guidance. We can go to the word for direction. You ain't got to go to your brother, your sister, your mama, your daddy, your pastor, your first lady, nobody. You can go straight to the word yourself, and you could talk to Jesus yourself. Jesus is always on the main line. He's always available. You could talk to him any hour of the day and any hour of the night. You do not have to have permission. You ain't got to have no appointment. You ain't got to do none of that to talk to Jesus. All you got to do is call him on up and begin to talk to Jesus. And I talk to him just like I'm talking to y'all right now. Sometimes I come right up out here, especially if I'm hurt or if I'm crying and I ain't got no husband here. I ain't got nobody to talk to. So I come right out with tears in my eyes and tears streaming down my face. And I'll be like, God, you see what's happening. You see what's happening. Jesus, where are you? I need you now. I need you more now than I ever did. Jesus, why is this happening? What is going on? You brought me to this strange land and I'm expecting. You got to go to him expecting change. I'm expecting you to help me because I don't know what to do in this situation. You are my leader. I trust you and I believe in you. Where are you? And we go at it. Me and Jesus go at it. I know him like this. We like this. We besties. Me and Jesus is besties. We have a good connection. And you said in your word that you wouldn't leave me nor forsake me. You said in your word that you will provide for me. You said in your word that I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. And you said that no weapon formed against me shall prosper. Jesus, look what they're doing to me. It don't prosper. He comes in just like a good father, and he took care of that whole situation. For you know it, I was smiling all over again. For you know it, I was just as happy and rejoicing all over again. For you know it, the smile on my face was so heavy, all I could look up and say, Lord, I love you. Lord, thank you. I just thank you. I thank you for how you taking care of me. I thank you how you watching over me. I thank you how you just step right on in. And he may not come when you want him, but God knows, y'all, I'm here to tell you, he is always right on time. He is right on time. He don't play. He don't play about me, and I know you know he don't play about you. But you got to talk to him, and you got to call on him. So I just love him tonight, y'all. And I just came out here and I talked to him when they was talking about evacuating from my house and find a stick build. And look how much God loves me. He gave me the double wide because I prayed for a house that was one level, and I know the double wide, you get more room in this double wide than what you do if you get a regular bungalow house, because I had a bungalow house in Dover. I sold the bungalow house that I had in Delaware, and it was nowhere near. This house is twice the size of the bungalow house I had in Delaware, but the bungalow house was a stick built house. This one is a double wide, but the pole building I have in the backyard is the same size. It's a 30 by 40. It's the same size as the stick built house that I had. I think that's like a 1,200 square feet, where this one is 2,025 square feet. But it's like, look at God. He gave me double for my trouble. He gave me what I asked for, but then he gave me what I left, so that I have a stick built on the property for protection in case I do have to go and evacuate up out of here. I can always go in that stick built building for cover. So I just thank God, and I just thank God, though, how he just made the storm cease, how he just, we come out and we speak to the storm, because I surely came out and spoke to the storm, and I let that storm know, you have no dominion, you must cease. You got to tell that storm, you got to speak to that storm and let that storm know who you are and whose you are. I'm a child of the Most High God. God told us to speak to that storm, and it has to cease. So the storm has ceased. The storm has ceased. And I just thank God for that. I thank God for just being in his will, just for loving on me and protecting me. I thank God for his protection tonight. And I just thank God for his protection for you too. If you don't know how to thank him for your protection, I thank God for his protection for you as well. So with that being said, that's my time. That's my message. That's just the love that I had to share tonight. And look how beautiful it is out here. Look how beautiful it is. So let me let y'all go, and I'm going to go in this house and find me something to eat and get ready to get myself situated. Maybe catch a good movie or whatever and get relaxed. So I love y'all. And if y'all stayed here this long, hit that subscribe button. We're on a journey for 10K over here. We done crossed over that 3,000 mark. Yay, yay, yay. We're moving. We're moving. The channel is moving. Thank you, Jesus. The channel is moving. And so you have not turned on your notifications, please turn your notifications on so you'll be notified when I drop my next video. Y'all be blessed and enjoy the rest of your night.